Oh, 9 home leagues in a row, and still some people don't want Warne as manager, says Nigel and so many others. Well, welcome back to Where Rams Walk. We've got 3 very, very happy Rams to discuss the latest win at home against Cardiff, and of course look ahead to the next trip to Sheffield United. Welcome to the quickest and most compact review of all things Derby County on the internet. This is Where Rams Walk. Oh, welcome back. Hey, what were you all worried about at the start of the season? This is easy. Absolutely walk in this league. Just as a show of hands, anybody looking to the Premier League? No? Yeah. Oh, no. Good, Darren. Well done.
Yeah, a little bit.
Premier League, here we come. Right, welcome, Darren, John, and Peyton back to review a week international break. We had a good week off. Let's look back at Cardiff, but also, of course, this week we're also going to be asking these guys to review left backs, because that's our next position as we go through each position in the squad. And who's your unsung player of the month for August? We've already awarded the player of the month for August. This is the unsung. Who's not got their flowers? We're asking Darren, John, and Peyton for their view on that, and also looking ahead to the trip to Sheffield. Right, let's jump straight into it. Peyton, we'll start with yourself. What impressed you the most against Cardiff?
I mean, it's how much we took the result from Bristol into the first half against Cardiff. The fact that they were definitely a weaker side, and you could see that, and we were on top a lot more until we scored. I think after the second half start and David Ozo came off injured, maybe not as good, but we held on, and as long as we can hold on every game of the season, I think we're good.
Yeah, it should have been 2-0 though, John, shouldn't it? I mean, does that go down as one of the worst misses you've ever seen?
To be honest with you, I was on the halfway line. I had a great view going through. And as he hit it, I thought, that's wide.
Yeah.
I just thought, never mind.
You must.
That's the most
you must have been, Yeah, I mean, had they have equalised after that, I know there was not much time left, but yeah, we'd have seen a whole different bit of social media, wouldn't we? Darren, what impressed you the most?
Similar to Peyton, it was a game with 2 halves, absolutely. First half, I thought we looked really good, really fluid. You could see what Paul Warne's trying to do, and it was kind of coming across. I agree with Peyton. I think David Ozo. To be fair, David Ozo, he wasn't like having the best match ever. But he's such an imposing figure in the middle of the park. So when he went off, he disrupted us for a while. And it was a little bit like we gave up possessions over the course of the game. We only had 36% possession, which is becoming a theme for this Derby team. But to be fair, they never really looked like scoring. I didn't think so. They had lots of possession, but they didn't really manage to do anything in the final third. So, I think if you ask me one thing that impresses me, they're very organised at the back. And they lay their bodies on the line. So Paul Warne speaks a lot about getting the right type of player in. I know all managers do, but it seems like he really does his research. He wants a particular type of guy there, and probably personified by Hayden Jackson, the new guy that came in who just gives his all. And so that's what impresses me. They fight for the cause.
Cheers for that, Darren. John, Zetterstrom now 2 clean sheets. We didn't know too much about him when we first started at the start of the year, but what do we know about him now? What's your observations of your new man in goal?
Well, good goalkeepers make crucial decisions, crucial saves at crucial times. And Zetterstrom again, he saved. I think it was 0-0 at the time. He made a save from a free kick or a corner. I'm not sure. Someone said Cashin headed it back towards.
Yeah, it was a Cashin. Cashin put it towards his own goal, like really powerfully.
He saved it, and then the second half he saved it, and then also when they had a good spell, 20 minutes to go, and there was couple of crosses he come out to, and he just slowed the game down, controlled the game, and there's nothing better when you've got a good goalie. He looks like he's going to be a very good goalkeeper, and there's no better feeling when you're a defender, when you've got a good goalie behind you, knowing that he can come out for crosses, like he can, and yeah. So far so good. I mean, we had to bring him in. He was, like we spoke about, we had to bring him in as the number one ASAP, and I think it's value for money so far, definitely.
Absolutely value for money. Let's have a look at some of the brief messages on social media. They were all extremely, extremely positive. For the first week, I couldn't find a single person saying anything bad about that performance. Let's have a look at some of them. Nine home leagues in a row. Ram in Sweden says, good result again. Hope Ozo is okay. We lacked the physical presence without him. 3 wins for the first 5 games. More than happy with that. And Kenzo Goudmijn making an opening goal. Let's deal with the physical presence bit without him. Darren touched on it, and Peyton, you touched on it a minute ago. What when Ozo went off, what were you missing that worries you?
Well, when he went off, we replaced him with Ben Osborne, and Ben Osborne's clearly a very intelligent player. He's played at a high level, played in the Premier League. So, I feel happy seeing him come on the pitch because I think he's a clever player, but he's a very different type of player to David Ozo. So, I mean, what I would hate is I don't think we're anywhere near that. We're not a one-man team, he's not, but it just so happens that him and Ebou Adams in the middle of the park, they do offer us a lot of kind of stability. So hopefully, I don't know. I haven't heard how long he's out. I don't know if it's a hamstring or if he was just feeling it. He's hoping he's not out for too long.
Okay. And Peyton, talk to me about Kenzo, what his contribution was. The goal was, he made the goal, didn't he? Down that side.
Well, Kenzo, he came in, and I don't think many people knew a lot about him, but he was one of them when they heard about him, like, yeah, we've got to get this guy in. And he's been, I think he took him a couple of games, but after that, soon as that Bristol City game happened, he's looked so comfortable. He's so good on the ball. His passing range is incredible, and he's very clearly got a goal in him. And his positioning as well, it's just something that we've not had in midfield, especially while we're in League One. And he's just so comfortable with the ball, which is something we just haven't had.
Okay. John, I'll ask you the question, which is the title of this one. Are the Paul Warne out brigade now silenced? Can we move on from this question?
I think so. I mean, for me, it's all about fans, and fans should have balance this year. I said Project 50, but I think it's more like 60. 60 points will get you safe, which is 1.2, average 1.2 points a game. We're currently at 1.8 points a game. That's our average. As long as we continue that, and the fans-wise, just get on board with him.
Okay.
I like the way we're playing. I mean, every player is giving 100%. We look solid and good on the play.
Yeah.
So,
which is a sign of a good manager, isn't it? If the players are playing for him, absolutely. However, yeah, absolutely. However, let's pour some more bad news on because you're not at home next week. You're back on your travels, where we've seen a very different Derby County so far, haven't we? And you're away at Sheffield United. So, Darren, how's he approached this one?
So I was looking at the stats before I came on here, and it looks like Sheffield United, based on a few games I've looked at, they've had the majority of possession apart from their last game away. So at home, it looks like they want to play with the ball. That suits us. I think it suits us because we clearly like playing without the ball. But their results, they've done very well. I mean, they've just beaten Watford, who beat us, and they've beaten Hull away, which it doesn't look an easy team to go away and get the points. So this is going to be a real test. But we'll continue playing the same way. We'll see. But yeah, this is going to be a big test. This is going to be like our opening game, Blackburn away, so where we lost 4-2. So yeah, we'll see.
Peyton, would you make any changes in formation here or personnel? Obviously, the injury to Ozil will need replacing, but other than that,
I think with Ozil, he's out until the international break, so we've got to have something there to replace him. And I have a feeling that Warne's going to go to a 5, bring Nat Phillips in. Joe Ward might make an appearance at right back over Nyambi. He might drop Callum Elder, but I don't think Callum Elder deserves to be dropped. And he might just go a bit more defensive, because I think we could play as good as possible and probably only get a goal against Sheffield United. So I think we can either play for the draw or we can play for not getting battered 4-0.
Okay. A really boring stat about this game is that you've played each other well over 100 times, and there's only ever been 1-0, which is bizarre, isn't it, for a fixture that's been played that amount of time. So hopefully I haven't cursed the game there. John, you last won there in 2011. Theo Robinson was the goal scorer some 13 years ago. Do you hold up any hope for a similar scoreline this weekend?
I agree with Peyton. I'm surprised if it goes into a 5. So they're as we know, Chris Wilder's sides. They're aggressive. They're on the front foot. Forward passes all the time. They're not frightened to load with players in the final third. And like Darren alluded to, that's where we can probably get them on the break. I think at times, if we go 5, I think a lot of the game will look like 5-4-1 in this game. And I think it's our transition on the break, how good we can look. That's how I see it. It's like Sheffield United against Hull on Friday night. They were good on the break, very dangerous on the break. And that's how I think we need to be against Sheffield United. But look forward to it. I don't think there's a pressure on Derby on Saturday. And see what happens.
Well, all right. Before then, we look at left backs. Can I ask all of you, if you haven't yet already, to press the subscribe button down below? We love making this content for you. Every single week we are creeping further and further up the YouTube rankings, so more Derby fans are finding, which is absolutely brilliant. We love having a chat on here. As I say, there's podcasts that you can listen to for hours and hours and hours, but ours is 20 minutes each week. Quick listen on the way to work, quick listen as you make lunch. We really, really appreciate it. Right, fellas, let's chat then about left backs. So then, the simple question we have for you, as we have reviewed goalkeepers and central defenders already, is in terms of strength and depth, Peyton, where do you currently rank or evaluate Derby's left back situation?
Well, I mean, Sonny Bradley is not a left back, so that's an interesting one. I don't think he could run fast enough to get down the line.
Well, according to the stats, he's played there at least once already this season. I don't know which game. It might have been it was a cup game, was it? But yeah, apparently so. But
that's an interesting one. Okay. I mean, out of the people who probably actually will play left back this season, Callum Elder and Craig Forsyth, I think, are the only two, because Osborne, there's something about him being promised to play in midfield, I've heard. So I think Elder at the start, I think before the season started, anyone saying Callum Elder playing left back for us would have been laughed at, because he was absolutely terrible last season, but he's come in and he's been quality. And I don't think he'll lose his place in the team for a while. And then Forsyth's a great backup and he's good to have around the squad. I mean, 2 left backs should be all right. If we need someone desperately, we can get someone in January. And if an injury happens, there's maybe a free agent out there that could do a job.
Right. Darren, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I disagree slightly with Peyton. I think the problem with Elder last season was his injury record. He was injured quite a lot, and then when he did get into the team, he was playing from a standing start. So I don't think we really saw the real Callum Elder last season. But yeah, I agree with Peyton. But what I do agree with Peyton, sorry, is that he's looked really good. Craig Forsyth is he's a legend in his own right at Derby because he's our longest serving player. So there's no way that Sonny Bradley is a left back. So I don't get that stat.
Okay, John. It is the weakest area that you are lacking players. This isn't it, is it? Left back.
Left back. Well, I mean, for the 4-3-2-1 system was growing into that position. Like he said, the cross was from him. However, I look at it, I think he'll, in the transfer window, there'll be two things he'll look at. I think he'll look at the left-hand side, but maybe as a wing-back, and then they'll look at the striker. But left-back-wise, sound as we are, we've got back up with Craig Forsyth, like, Peyton says, influence in the dressing room, experience. But I do feel that's still a position that we do need to strengthen anyway.
Okay. All right, then. And then finally this week, we are asking for your unsung hero of August. The club have already awarded their man of the match, so you're not allowed to pick that one. But Darren, who for you has not perhaps had the headlines who deserves some recognition from us?
Okay, right, so I'm going to pick one because, the players have been getting their praises sung, and rightly so. The guy I'm going to go for is Ryan Nyambe. It's not a popular pick, I think. Well, I don't know if it's a popular pick, but we got this guy from Wigan. He left Wigan, contract expired, and, he took some time to pick his team. So we picked him up for nothing. When he's face to face with a player, I just don't see a player getting past him. I just think he's excellent. He's such a great defender, and he's so solid in that right back position. But as Peyton said, he might get sacrificed if we go to a five at the back, because they might want to go with someone like Joe Ward, and Kane Wilson, who are more. He's not like a forward sort of running player, Nyambe. He's a defensive player, and I like defenders that can defend. So I think unsung. We got him for nothing. He signed a contract with us now, so I think we've got him for 2 years. And he looks some player. I like him, Ryan Nyambe.
Okay, thanks, Darren. Peyton.
Well, on Nyambe quickly, he actually signed him because Jake Rooney tore his ACL. The only reason we signed him, we weren't going to sign him. Yeah. So an emergency signing is absolutely amazing. But I think unsung hero, Curtis Nelson. I think Nyambe is close second, but Curtis Nelson has been amazing. He's made 2 quality blocks and he's looked very solid at the back. Something that we really need.
All right, John, you can choose either of those, or you can have your own.
No, I Curtis Nelson and Ryan Nyambe.
All right, brilliant. All right. Any more? Put them in the comments below. We really enjoy reading all your comments every single week. Thank you, you three. Enjoy your trip to Sheffield. Not too far, is it, that one? What, about an hour and a half, something like that?
I think it's an hour.
Not even an hour.
Okay. Forest fans seem to have flooded on the Derby accounts this week as well. It's amazing, isn't it? Your first win at Anfield in how many years, and all of a sudden they want to remind you of who they are. But they've been quiet. I'm sure they'll pipe down at some point. You might even be playing them next year if this carries on. Thanks so much for joining us on Where Rams Walk. Do subscribe if you haven't done already, and we will catch you next week.